Vico.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC startup.
And there you heard and saw those 3 events that happened back to back, including main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start 1.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And a nice view of fairing separation and some of those payloads that are flying on today's flight. SpaceX will recover the fairing halves after they splash down in the waters of the Pacific Ocean. Again, one of those had flown for a 35th time, the other for a 19th time. Coming up on 4 minutes into flight, everything moving smoothly with this mission so far. The next major milestone is the first stage entry burn. That's when SpaceX will reignite 3 out of the 9 Merlin engines at the base of the booster. That's coming up at T plus 6 minutes and 5 seconds. That burn lasting less than half a minute in duration. Right now we're continuing to watch views of the upper stage engine, toggling between those 2 views of either side. You can see with the telemetry data on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that the booster tail number 1097 has passed its apogee in this mission, making its descent now towards the drone ship, which we saw earlier. Of course, I Still Love You. Sounds like a bit of a mixed bag from launch viewing for folks. See, Barlow says he could see it from Fresno, and Phaser had good views from Oxnard, but others were not quite so lucky. Time now, T plus 5 minutes, 50 seconds, counting up. We're coming up to the start of that entry burn here in the next few seconds. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
Stage 1, FTS is safe.
And there's the call out for the entry burn startup on the Falcon 9 first stage. Now this burn is set to last about 24 seconds and again is slowing the vehicle down in preparation for its final burn and landing.
Stage 1, entry burn shutdown.
And that concludes our entry burn.
With the good entry burn now complete, coming up next will be the landing burn, followed by the cutoff of the upper stage engine in quick succession. First up, the landing burn will begin at about T plus 8 minutes and 4 seconds. 7.5+ minutes into flight. Again, the single engine landing burn is coming up just past the 8-minute mark in flight. Upper stage now in terminal guidance, about to reach the end of its first burn. Upper stage engine will perform a series of 4 burns across today's deployment operations. Let's listen in for the start of this landing burn.
FTS is safe.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And there we heard the call out for the landing burn start for the Falcon 9 first stage. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will execute before touching down.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And as we
Nominal orbit insertion.
as we saw and heard, a successful first stage landing.
And over on the second stage, confirmation of a successful cutoff of the MVAC engine, and we also heard the call out for good orbit. Coming up next.
Now T plus 9 minutes 5 seconds. So far, so good with the Falcon 9 Transporter 17 mission. So you can see with the telemetry map here, the second stage continues to move further and further away from the California coastline. We're on the first of a series of coast phases on this mission. This will be leading us up to the second burn of the upper stage engine, which will last just a handful of seconds to put the upper stage on the correct trajectory to begin the first big deployment sequence of the 69 deployments that we'll see on today's flight. Total of 81 payloads on board, but some of those are hosted payloads on some of the spacecraft that are deploying from the Falcon 9 rocket. Again, there will be a couple of upper stage engine burns following the majority of the payloads deploying. Again, here's a look at that tree of satellites there, if you will. After 2 more burns of the upper stage engine following the deployment of most of these satellites, then that cake topper there, the CAS 500-4 from South Korea, that will be the final piece of the deployment pie, happening in T plus 2 hours, 30 minutes, 12 seconds post liftoff. Want to remind folks, though, that in between burns number 3 and 4, so beginning around 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 a.m. Pacific Time, we'll have a live interview with one of the CEOs of the companies that is providing a payload on today's mission. Quite a unique payload, but unfortunately, the bulk of the information surrounding that is still under embargo right now until we get to that interview. But promise it'll be an interesting one, so you'll want to stick around for that, or if you want to go ahead and grab some coffee. If you're staying up with us, we certainly appreciate those of you who are hanging around, and we'll be talking about some of the other payloads on the road to deployment as well. Time currently T plus 14 minutes, 9 seconds and counting. As we're awaiting the first, or I suppose we're awaiting, what will come up next will be the second burn of the upper stage engine on the Falcon 9 rocket. I want to talk about some of the payloads that are flying on board today's mission, or continue that conversation. First, I want to thank a few folks that have been supporting us during the early part of the coverage today. Thanks to Roxy Jacobson for a $3 super chat. Thank you, Roxy. RPM for years has been a channel member with us now for 20 months at the mission specialist level. It says, in Oregon for my milestone, but excited to be up. Glad you're able to be up with us. Thanks for your ongoing support. Also, thanks to another channel member, KH489, for gifting 5 Spaceflight Now memberships. It's very kind of you. And to our newest gifted members, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us. Be sure to thank KH in the live chat if you haven't already. And we hope you decide to stick around with channel membership beyond the month you were just gifted. Channel member Michael McRoy with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Another channel member, I am Lita, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Lita. Good to see you this morning. Lita says, great views from Palmdale. Thanks, Will, Spaceflight Now team, and the mods. And home of a great new space shuttle exhibit. Oh, where they built the shuttles, excuse me. And one more $5 super chat from Let Loose. Says, heard her in Santa Maria. Thought it was an earthquake because I was asleep. Talking about the launch that just took place that we're seeing currently still in motion. Thanks for the support this morning. Sorry it woke you up, but I'm glad your second thought after you woke up was, well, let me go check out Spaceflight Now and see what's happening. Speaking of what's happening on board this Falcon 9 rocket this morning, a series of satellites from countries around the world, including from folks there in California. One of those is a company called Apex that has launched a satellite platform that is designed to host a series of other payloads. SpaceX mentioned that there are 69 deployment sequences on today's flight, but some are like Apex carrying other folks' payloads, which will be some remaining on board that host satellite, others being deployed at a later time. So here's a produced video from Apex with the music removed for copyright reasons, but to give an overview of the company and what they're flying with this Nova 1 mission.
Apex was built on the premise of speed. We are in a major space race right now, and we do not have time to wait the years and years it takes for satellite platforms to be developed, built, tested, and eventually flown. When Max and I founded Apex, we set out to move at an unprecedented pace. And with our very first satellite platform, Ares, we did exactly that. Less than 12 months from a blank piece of paper to a working satellite on orbit.
With Nova, we haven't taken our foot off the pedal. We designed an entire vehicle and vertically integrated most of its subsystems in just under 18 months, which is entirely unheard of in this industry. From the power system, avionics suite, solar arrays, and software, the entire team coming together to develop a tightly integrated stack.
Our engineering team designed Nova to be our mid-size constellation workhorse. Nova is capable of carrying over 300 kilograms of payload and has over 1 kilowatt orbit average power, designed to operate in some of the toughest high low Earth orbit environments. Nova's vertically integrated tech stack is flowing directly into future platforms like Comet Mini and Comet XL.
Bringing Nova to life this quickly is the ultimate testament to our culture. And in typical Apex fashion, we're flying that first product on our own dime to prove out the entire system in orbit for our customers.
I couldn't be more proud of how all of Apex has come together to get Nova to the launch pad. And it is only the beginning.
And again, that was an overview of Apex's Nova 1 mission. And to get a sense of where the Apex Nova 1 satellite is on the actual stack here, they did a graphic that they shared on social media, which you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, highlighting where the Nova 1 spacecraft is with some of those hosted payloads. On the right is a graphic for it's showing a little bit of a close-up view of one of the payloads on board, described as a national defense mission called Project Shadow. In a press release published back in October of 2025, they said that the mission, quote, is slated to fire demonstration-class space-based interceptors on orbit within the next year. Project Shadow marks a critical step towards advancing U.S. space defense capabilities and maturing key technologies needed to deploy a proliferated space-based interceptor constellation, end quote. And as you can see with the icon just above Project Shadow, this is part of the broader what's called the Golden Dome architecture, a combination of space and ground-based interconnected series of technologies designed to offer greater protection for the United States and its allies, is what it's billed as. Time currently T plus 26 minutes, 8 seconds and counting. As we're awaiting the next major milestone in this mission, which is the upper stage engine burn of the Falcon 9 rocket, coming at about T plus 51 minutes and 2 seconds. Going to go ahead and pause on commentary. Leave you with some space tunes to jam to as we're watching this coast phase of the Falcon 9 rocket. And we'll be back shortly before that burn and the subsequent start of the first series of deployments. You're watching Spaceflight Now's live coverage of Transporter 17.